Welcome to Focus Singles Ministry. So glad y'all can join us. This is the first Tuesday of the year, first Focus Singles lesson. We're going to do a little different this time.
Okay.
You're going to see a little bit of difference during the course of the year. We have our regular teaching styles, but also some creative ways of getting the message out. Please do me a favor and share. Let somebody know we're on. Get a single on. I'm so glad that Pastor Prescott is here. She's going to be joining us tonight.
I'm so glad to be here.
And you're going to see her more. She's going to be helping teach during the course of the year. Some of you watch on women's ministry, and you guys really enjoy her, and it's going to be fun.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, saints.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
We're pressing her out into the camera more.
Right,
come out the camera. Come out.
Like,
come
I'm
out.
the behind the scenes person.
Come on out. This is your year. Come on out. Touch your neighbor and say, come out. Anyway, y'all share, and it's going to be fun. What we're going to do is a Q&A type teaching. I'm going to ask the questions. She's going to answer. Kind of discussion. We'll relax, have a dialogue. We'll act like y'all not here.
Right. Like we just in the kitchen talking over coffee.
That's right.
Right.
We should have had some here too.
I know, right? Oh boy. Dun, dun, dun.
All right. So this is just getting her thoughts on it. And in regards to dating, do you think it is intimidating to be a strong Christian woman in leadership?
Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Because I find that a lot of men, just from my own personal experience, can't handle your strength. I think a lot of men, and I hate to use this word, but I'm going to use this word. I think a lot of men are intimidated when they see how strong you are, and especially when they see that you can have a happy, fulfilled life without a man.
Yes.
I think I've had men in my family say to me, observing what I do and what I have, and saying, oh, well, what you need a man for? Do you know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes it can be intimidating, and it really sucks because I don't think single women that are strong carry themselves like they want you to think I'm here, but I think the way you come across, like I've had men say, I was afraid to even say hi to you.
Okay.
Why?
Right.
Why are you afraid to say hi? Yeah. Just hi. So, it's a struggle, and I don't get it all the time, but it's a reality to deal with.
You know what's interesting about that? I know I am like this. A couple other guys are like this that I know. We don't want our woman to need us. We want to be wanted. And I think there's a difference.
Right.
A lot of those guys you're talking about is like, well, you don't need me. Like, why would you? It's not a child.
Exactly.
You want her to want you, to want to be around you, not totally depend on you for everything.
Exactly.
To stroke your ego.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry.
And I think that's the thing, when they see that you can make it on your own. And here's the thing. People say, if you were ever to get married, would you have a hard time submitting? Absolutely not. As long as you give me something to submit to. I would love to not have to worry about X, Y, and Z, or A, B, and C. But you got to give me something to submit to. I'm not just submitting when you're not proving to me that you're the leader that I know you need me to be. I need you to be, and that God wants you to be.
Absolutely.
No submission is happening. But if you prove to me that,
we good.
We can talk.
Yep.
Right.
And I think a lot of guys forget, behind the title of any woman, whether she's CEO, this or that, actress, guess what? Behind all that, she is still a woman.
Absolutely.
She wants to be treated just like she's a woman,
Absolutely.
not a title.
Absolutely.
She wants to be cared for, secure, all that stuff.
And just simple things, old-fashioned things like conversation.
Right. Talk to me. Can we talk?
Can we talk? Can we talk? Can we just have a real conversation? And here's the thing, because I'm a preacher and I'm first assistant here at the church, it doesn't always have to be about church. Can we just have a conversation? So I think part of the intimidation is, okay, well, I'm not as mature as I perceive her to be. Well, the only way to find that out is to have a conversation.
Absolutely. You like, I got the Bible.
Right.
You bring up a conversation. I need you to know some scripture.
Oh, you got to know something now.
But you got to know all of it, though.
You got to know something. You got to know where Genesis is and Revelations.
Right.
That's a requirement number one.
You'll take care in between.
Right.
Okay. Okay. God made us to be coupled. Okay. How do you deal with the loneliness that comes along with waiting? So I would change that phrase from coupled to community with people, connection with people. Because to me, marriage is a calling, but not a requirement.
Right. Right.
From God.
Right.
So it's not a necessity, but it's cool to have.
Right.
If I can say it like that.
Right.
With the right person. Let me qualify that.
Right. Right.
And even with the right person, it can be challenging.
Right.
So how do you work that dynamic?
Well, I think the number one misconception is that I think everybody thinks that your life is to follow the same trajectory as theirs or of the commentary of the world, which is go to school, get your degree, get married, have kids. Everybody's life's not going to follow that way, right? So that's the first thing. You have to know that everybody doesn't want to be married. Okay, I want to be married though. I get that. But I think as it relates to loneliness, I think married couples and single couples all experience loneliness because by God ordaining it, there's always going to be a void that only He can fill. So I think singles are so preoccupied, if we're not careful, with being lonely that we think I'm the only one in the world being lonely. Married people get lonely too. Why? Because all of us have a void in us that God purposely left there for Him and Him alone to fill. So as a single woman of God, do I get lonely sometimes? Absolutely. What do I do in those lonely times? Number one, I make sure I remove all the temptations. Can we just be real? Can we just be real? Never set yourself up to fail. If you know you're lonely and you can call Joe over there and Joe can holler at, no. You can't set yourself up to fail. And then I find that I have to do things. There are seasons in my life when it feels like I'm more lonely than usual. So when I anticipate that season, I purposely do things to make sure I'm not in a bad situation.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we lie to ourselves as single women and say, no, I can handle this. We're just gonna, you gotta know your weaknesses. You have to purposely set your environment up where you're not going to fail on purpose. Because the temptation is going to come.
Absolutely.
With everybody. The temptations and the distractions are going to come. You have to be intentional about saying, no, you know what, I feel this Christmas season and, everybody else all booed up. And, I'm looking around like, dang, here I am saying, okay, that's the wrong attitude to have. It's a reality, but you have to find a way to offset that.
Absolutely. It's funny, during the beginning of the pandemic, I was thinking, some people that were living by themselves were like, I wish I had somebody to live with. But then the folk that had people to live with, it was like, I wish I was by myself. It was like, we have to learn to be content.
Exactly.
Because both sides are like.
Yep. And for me during the pandemic, I'm a hugger. So we weren't in church. Even when I went around the 3 family members that I did, I was hesitant to hug for obvious reasons. So I feel like, dang, I just need a real old-fashioned hug. But
we all do.
We're going to make up for it.
Right.
So when I hug y'all, when we come back for 5 minutes, you know why.
You know why. Like, why is she holding me so long?
Okay, you can let me go now.
Oh, these are all Maya questions. My questions aren't even.
Maya trying to set me up.
Right. My questions were more spiritual. This is all her.
Oh, okay. She put a little sauce on it.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. So, to your question, we're seeing, and I think this is a good thing, we're seeing more young women put their career first and then marriage secondary versus before in other eras it was get married first and then hope to have a career. I actually think that's pretty cool.
I do too.
Where a young woman will say, I want to pursue my purpose, build my career, and get my family after. Can you kind of talk to that? Because I know you started off law office and career and all that stuff like that.
I think the paradigm has shifted. I think for so long, even subconsciously, we have had the thought in the back of our mind, commentary of the world, go to school, get married, blah, blah, blah. And I think in the back of our mind that was there. But then I think when we come to know ourselves in a better way, that cause us to want to pursue the things that make us happy as an individual. Because 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 + 1 equals 1. Meaning that when you connect with somebody, that person's responsibility is not to make you whole. We want to be whole before we connect with that person. And one of my pet peeves is women have a long list. Some women have a long list of what they want in a man. Nothing wrong with that list, right? A man has a right to have that list too. So we have to be able to check off some of the things on his list as well.
Yep. You think like such like a man. I love it. You really do.
I
You're,
do.
You're a woman, but you think like a man sometimes. I love it.
It works for me and against me.
Right. Why is it so hard for people to connect these days?
Why is it so just people in general?
That was my question.
Okay, why is it so hard?
Why is it so hard for her to connect with people? I guess.
I think.
I'm playing.
I think sometimes we're not willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, and when I talk about being vulnerable, I mean being able to express who you are without the fear of being judged.
Yeah.
So there's a place for that, but I will also caution you and say that you have to be sure you're being vulnerable with the right person, right?
Yes.
So even if you have you're trying to have a female friend, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Here's the barometer. If she tells you everybody else's business, don't think you're so special that when you leave the room, she's not going to tell you her business. So for me, I listen and I watch for little things like that.
Yeah.
If she's upset and her mood changes when you get a new dress, you might not want to tell her you're getting a new house.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So you kind of just pay attention to how she reacts to things in your environment.
Absolutely. That's good. Yo, we're seeing an emphasis of image over substance.
Oh, Lord.
Woo! Let's talk about that. Why do you think people emphasize, especially now with social media,
I was going to say that.
Getting plastic surgery all over the place, and image over substance?
I think with social media, of course, you can appear to be anybody you want to be on social media. You can make yourself smaller. You can make your skin lighter. You can do whatever you want to do to create the image you want people to see. But here's my thing. If eventually they're going to see you in real life, they're going to see you not a size 4, right? So I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with enhancing. If something happened when you took a camera shot and you want the photographer to enhance it, that's fine. But I think it should look like you. The other thing with that is with social media, they call it a hyper reality. Let me explain what I mean. You dressed up, you take a picture, you post it on social media. Most times you're going to get hundreds of likes.
Yeah.
Name me one time you got dressed up and went to Cherry Hill Mall and got 100 people say, hey, you look nice today.
Yeah.
It's a hyper reality.
I like that. Yeah.
So, and that's the whole nature of social media. It boosts your ego because it's like, oh my God. And if we're not careful, we check back how many people like my picture.
Yep.
But in reality, hundreds of people are not saying, I like your hair, or I like your shirt, or I like your outfit.
Yes.
So it's a hyper reality. So I get it feeds a part of our ego, but we have to balance it.
Yeah.
Because we can be anybody we want to be on social media. But at the end of the day, if the person's going to meet you in real life, they're going to see that you're not the person you portray on social media.
Yes.
So I think social media is good in some ways, and in some ways it's kind of created this false person. Yeah. And we have to be careful to make sure we're balanced.
Yeah. It's a trap.
Right. It is a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Nothing wrong with posting pictures and all of that, but just reality is, don't nobody really care that much.
All the comments, yes, sis, and all that stuff like that. You all going
Girl,
in,
you're killing it.
yes,
You're
you
killing
serving,
it.
yes.
That don't happen in real life. You can walk clean through the mall and one person might say, oh, that's a nice outfit.
Right. But not that deep. Yeah.
Hyper reality.
All right. Good. You're a queen of purpose.
Yes.
All right. So we talked a little earlier. Purpose dictates relationships, and relationships help with purpose. So let's kind of talk about that. How purpose will tell you which relationships to get into, and how relationships are supposed to help you with your purpose in life.
So I think when you know your purpose is the why of life. Purpose answers the question, why am I here?
Okay.
So as it relates to purpose, I think purpose audits your relationships. Because when you're headed in a certain direction, you're not being arrogant, you're not being bougie. If you know you're headed in a certain direction, you want to be sure to surround yourself with people that are pushing you into that direction. I remember times, and all of us can attest to this, you sit at the table with people and you like, I'm trying to fit in, but I ain't like none of these people. Like we have nothing in common. Yeah. So am I saying never hang out with people that you don't have things in common with? I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that people that have influence in your life should be people that want to push you to your purpose. Yeah. I'll give you an example. As a single woman, people always try to match make. Always. Always, it gets on my nerves sometimes.
Yeah.
They always try to match make. And I remember years ago, somebody matched make me with somebody. We went out to eat, and I'm just having normal conversation with the person, and he says out of his mouth that he don't believe in women preachers. Check, please.
Right.
He's not going to be the one to help me pursue my purpose because he doesn't even believe in what I do and who I am. So my purpose audited that relationship, and that was the last time I talked to that person.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like with family members, friends, talk about, some people find it hard to separate themselves from people because you love this person, but you recognize they're just not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
We know family, friends, whatever. How do you kind of get to that place of acceptance of, I'm hoping this person is going to get along and see the purpose I have and help me. And I'm like, well, they're not going to do it. How do you get to that?
I think you just have to, when you come to the awareness that they're not going to help you along in your purpose, and you don't have to do it all at once. Some people will say, well, you're not helping me with my purpose, so I'm going to back up. I don't think you have to say that. Just do it.
Yeah.
So you just become less available.
Yeah.
You just begin to back up slowly more. I think it's difficult when it's somebody that's a part of your family because you want to maintain those relationships. But I have people in my family right now that don't embrace what I do, don't understand why I'm busy and why I had this schedule. And I had that over there in one spot, but it's just, I'm limited in what I can do with them because we're not in the same frame of mind.
Yeah. It stinks sometimes.
It does. Because again, going back to loneliness, it's like, well, dang, I want to go out too, because you'll find that after a while, they stop asking you or calling you and wanting you to go out because you kind of cramp their style. Mm-hmm. Right. So they're good at backing up when you cramp their style, but we're not good at backing up when they cramp our style.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh.
Y'all asking some good questions, man. Got me working up in here.
I know, right?
I need a towel. I'm sweating.
Right.
I'm kidding.
What do you think about modern day dating? Meeting people on the internet. Is this a forced blessing taken into your own hand?
For me, I know people that have met people online and are happily married. For me, it's just for me, that doesn't work. I'm that old-fashioned, let's go out to eat. Not now, of course, but let's go out to eat, have some coffee, get to know each other. I just think it's hard. When I talk to people, I'm not just having conversation. I'm looking at body language. I'm looking at expression when I say certain things. I'm listening for tone. I'm listening to see, I'm trying to see if they're really interested in what I'm saying, if they're a good listener. I don't think you can get all of that when you kind of date and meet via social media. Not knocking it. It works for some people. For me, that's not my preference. Not my preference.
I need to look at you.
I want to look at you and see them eyes and see your body language and how you said what you said. And I'm looking at all of that.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh-oh. This is a Maya question.
Is there something wrong with me? Many single women find themselves asking this question. What would you say to these feelings?
Is there something wrong with me because I'm not married?
Because I'm single. Yep, because single, not married.
No.
Not always.
I don't think there's anything wrong with you. You just haven't met the right one that God has for you. And again, let's be abundantly clear. Maybe some people are called to be single, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you know you're not called to be single, you have to wait for God to send you the right one. Yeah. Because the bottom line is, ladies, we could all be married right now if we wanted to. You want just to be married, just be married. Find anybody to marry.
It's available.
Right? It's available. But if you want the right one, you have to wait. And I think we slip into is something wrong with me when I spend more time focusing on the fact that I'm single than let me work on me.
Right.
And I know it sounds cliche, but take this time to work on yourself. Yeah. Am I saying you'll never be lonely? No, you're going to be lonely. Yeah. That's just part of life. Yeah. But we had to take this time to work on ourselves and find out who we are and what our purpose is.
Yeah. Some of y'all, there's something wrong with you. But that's men and women.
But then here's the thing, Pastor Nick. When you know, let's just say you know you have a temper, or you know you make rash decisions. Yeah. Don't nobody got to tell you that.
Right.
You know that, right?
You know.
So this is the time to work on that.
Right. Yeah. And both men and women. Just-
Both. Both.
Yeah. 'Cause
Both.
I think it takes a lot of strength. And I admire people that say this. I am not ready for a relationship.
Yep.
Because I got to work out some stuff in
Yep.
me first. And I can totally respect that and say, they're like, I wouldn't be good in a relationship because I got this going on,
I
this
love
going
that.
on.
I
And
love
they
that.
know their issues
Yep.
that won't allow them to be in a successful relationship.
And some of us are too selfish to be in a relationship because when you're in a relationship, you got to do things you don't feel like doing. You got to share when you don't feel like sharing. You got to talk. Right now, and I ain't got to talk to nobody when I get up if I don't want to, right? But you can't be in a relationship and they say good morning,
Like,
talk to me at 1 o'clock.
Right.
What kind of crap is that? You got to put
Right,
yourself aside.
right.
I'm in a relationship now and I got to share my food.
Right. That's what I was thinking about. Cookies. I'm like, I bought some cookies the other week.
Like, you want some?
Thank you. I came home like, y'all almost ate all my cookies.
Yup, everything is shared. It's two people now. So you got to get used to that. You got to get used to anticipating people's needs.
Yep. Yeah. That is
When you're
so
single,
true.
you ain't got to worry about that.
Yep,
So
that
it's an
is
adjustment.
So true.
It's an adjustment.
So true. I come from a family of non-morning people.
Oh, Lord.
Tiff comes from a family of morning people. When we
not
first
a mo-
got married, it was an adjustment.
I'm sure. Because you like, okay, do you have to be so happy in the morning? But you can't tell Tiff, okay, Tiff,
say that.
listen,
Can't do it.
when we get up, you need to give me 2 hours to
Right,
get myself
right.
together. She looking at you like, what?
No.
2 hours? That's half the day.
Right. Can't do it. All right. So God gave Adam purpose before he gave him relationship. Mm-hmm. Why do we pursue purpose? Why do we sometimes pursue relationship before purpose? Should we pursue purpose
Yep.
in that relationship?
We should pursue purpose in a relationship because I think somewhere along the way we've learned that relationship will help me discover purpose.
Yeah.
After you know your purpose, I think relationship will help you discover
Yes.
purpose. But God wants us to know our purpose first because, like I said earlier, when you know your purpose, it's going to audit the relationship, and you may not even be in the relationship that you're in if you have put purpose first.
Yep.
And sometimes it's trial and error. I get it. You know, when you're young, I'm not saying do it responsibly, of course, but you're getting to know people you're dating. That's fine because that's how you get to know what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's good. That's a good thing to do.
All right, we're almost done. We had to do this in part 1, part 2.
Okay.
Oh, we already got this already because how purpose dictates your relationship choices. We talked about that.
Okay, we getting through this can of
Hope y'all enjoying
this
this.
bottle of questions.
You kind of talked about this a little bit, unless you want to elaborate some more. How do you deal with discouragement of impatiently waiting for relationships?
I think anything you focus on grows.
Yeah.
So the more you focus on I'm single,
Yeah.
that's what's going to take up most of your time, the fact that I'm single.
Yep.
All you got to do, for me, what I do is I'm like, okay, I see people that are happily married,
Yep.
and I see people that are married and like, So I think single people have this thought that marriage is going to be perfect.
Fix everything. Yep.
It's going to fix everything. It's going to help me with my low self-esteem. Again, 1 + 1 don't equal 2. 1 + 1 equals 1. So as much as possible, we all have issues, but we want to be as whole as possible when we enter a relationship because there's going to be enough challenges with the relationship. Like when I think about getting married, I'm like, dang, I got to share stuff with people and I got to tell them where I'm going and when I'm coming home. Like that's going to be an adjustment because I'm not used to having an answer to anybody.
Yep.
So we're back to that selfishness now. You got to work on that.
Yeah. You could leave a dish in the sink, like, I'll get it in the morning.
Get it tomorrow.
And now you're like,
Yep. Yep.
Yep. It's all changes. I say marriage to the right person is challenging. Has its challenges, has its good times, but it also has its challenges too.
Sure, because it's two people coming together as one.
Yeah. And it takes a lifetime to become a unit.
Yep. And look how you're married and you're still discovering things about your wife and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if you don't know yourself and you're trying to figure yourself out, then you're trying to manage her new stuff, and it's just like, oh Lord. But when you know who you are, I think it makes for an easier road.
It does. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing something for young couples because it is a transition. Because who I was at 16 wasn't who I was at 25.
Exactly.
25 at 35 at 40. Same with her. That evolution and be able to grow with somebody is, especially at that young age.
Because you're always growing.
Yeah. At 16, you don't really know what you want out of life.
No. And for me, even sometimes, I mean, I know full grown men, like 40 plus. still don't know.
Yeah, what they want to do. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So, last question.
Okay.
And this is going to be good because we're going to do a session specifically for like the 50 plus singles and have some 50 plus men and women come on and kind of talk about it, with that crowd. What advice would you give for the younger generation? Bring this question up while you think about it, because this group thinks, well, times are different. It's not the same. To me, times are changing, but the basics are still the same. But I want you to go ahead.
So I would caution young people and say you don't have as much time as you think you have. Not saying you're going to die tomorrow. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, whatever age you think is old, pretty soon you're going to be
Right.
Pretty soon you're going to be that age.
Yeah.
So when we put off and say, well, I'll do it when I get 30, whatever, you do not have as much time. Is going so fast. You don't have as much time as you think you have. And I think this is the time to really focus on knowing who you are. And here's the thing. You can't get to know who you are by yourself. God is the one that shows you who you are. So the more we grow in relationship with God, He begins to show us who we are. And then here we go again. We're back full circle. That starts to audit your relationships. But you do not have as much time, young people, as you think you do. We're already at the end of 2021. It seems like it was just New Year's Eve. So, and I know you can attest to this. When I was younger, older people used to say, the older you get, the faster time gonna go. And I would be like, that's so stupid. True. What they going to do, speed up the clock? I get it now.
I get it too.
You 40 one day, and then the next day you feel like you're 20 years older, because time goes so fast. So this is the time to take advantage of the time that you have while you're young. You're not too young to start whatever it is you have in the back of your mind. You want to start. Good.
Any closing thoughts you want to share before we go?
No, this was good. This was good. But I'm cool. Big on purpose and big on people being able to answer the question, why am I here? Because that fulfillment that all of us are looking for comes in purpose.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For all of us. I don't care what age you are. When we are unfulfilled, as a rule, it's mainly because we have not pursued and walked in our purpose.
This is good. I think this is going to be good.
I like it.
Let us know if you guys enjoyed this, if you want us to do it again. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Don't forget to join us for Bible study tomorrow night. Of course, we'll be back next month for another Focus Singles Ministry. Again, we're just trying to change it up. Pastor, thank you so much.
You are so welcome. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you. This is my sis.
Yes.
I love her. Y'all leave her alone.
Same.
You mess with her, you mess with me.
Ditto.
Right.
You'll meet my evil twin. You mess with Pastor Nick.
Right. We stick with each other. Praise God.
We do.
So we love you all. We appreciate you. And we'll see you